All right, people. Welcome back. Good late morning. We have Pass Rush Friday, and we're going to have a lot of fun this week. I'm just going to tell you this right now because the Seahawks threw a generational party in that Titans backfield last Sunday. And PFF told us how good it was. Our eyes told us how good it was. But PFR validating what we saw on Sunday that's like the final step because we've seen games where PFF tells us we got all kinds of pressure and everything was great, but then PFR kind of smacks us down. That's not happening this week, guys. Pro Football Reference validated that pass rush game on Sunday about as much as they ever have that I've seen. So buckle up. This is going to be a lot of fun. And there are a couple of guys in particular that really had maybe the best games that they're ever going to have. All right, guys, before I go any further, I want to tell you guys about my buddies over at Sleeper. And let me tell you, if you're not using Sleeper for daily fantasy football, you are missing out. Check out the left side of your screen right now. Look at all the fun stuff you can get up to. Look at all the stuff you can pick one way or the other on. I've got an entry for this week, the Thanksgiving week of football. We got George Pickens over 75.5 yards against Kansas City. I got Chase Brown and JSN scoring anytime touchdowns in their respective games. And I've got Josh Allen throwing for at least 2 touchdowns against Pittsburgh. Get on over there. You can put together bet slips just like this one. And if you use promo code SBN, that is SBN, you can get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Check out Sleeper today. Go put your picks down and have fun with sports this year. Okay, so you probably have already seen it by now, but yeah, Leonard Williams, according to Pro Football Reference, had 8 pressures in that game. And that's very interesting because that's more than PFF gave him. PFF gave him, I believe they gave him 6. I think they gave him 6. So you don't see this very often. And even if I'm wrong and they did actually give him 8, and I'm not interested in looking it up right now because that would take effort. That doesn't happen very often either, where PFF and PFR are synchronized. So yeah, 8 pressures from an interior defensive lineman. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That's like Micah Parsons, TJ Watt type stuff. So yeah, really, really good. And by the way, I projected 25 pressures for him the whole season. We're already there. So yeah, we are where we want to be with Leonard Williams and then some. Byron Murphy, 3 pressures. Been a little bit of a dry spell for him, but he showed up in a big way on Sunday. 3 pressures for a guy playing part of his snaps as a nose tackle is great, is remarkable. And again, we are further ahead with Byron Murphy than I thought we would be. And I know PFF has given him a lot more pressures than just the 18, but PFR, I mean, 18 from a guy who's playing one tech about, I think I saw somewhere it was like 35% of the time. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's pretty awesome. And again, it's one short of the projection, so we're basically there. And I love what I see from Murphy. Jaron Reed didn't play. Mike Morris had a pressure, first of the season. So I guess he met his projection, so that's cool. But more importantly, we got to see a little bit of a bigger impact from Mike Morris, which we haven't seen yet this year, which is nice because I believe he's still under contract next year, and he may end up being a key piece of depth next year because of his ability to do some edge stuff and do some down lineman stuff. So 12 pressures from the defensive line. We're cooking already. Linebackers, not a lot going on. Again, Jones, Knight, both hurt. Drake Thomas, nothing. But Pat O'Connell had a sack, which, I mean, Pat O'Connell was not a guy I really expected anything from this year. So, hey, 1 pressure is 1 more pressure than I thought he was going to get. So that's your 1 from the linebackers this week. And that moves us to the edge rushers, where, once again, we got some really cool stuff. All 4 guys had at least 1. Nwosu had 1. Mafe had 1. So their day's a little more quiet, a little bit more not super excited about that, I guess. But Derek Hall has 7, which is going to kind of make you forget about that very quickly, right? Derek Hall, who has been kind of silent for a few weeks now in this area. I still think he's doing other things well, but in the arena of pressure, you can see that it's been kind of slow. 3 over his last 8 games. Now, he missed a couple of those games with an injury, but to suddenly blow up with 7 in one game, almost doubling your season total, whew, that was great. That was great. And he may never have 7 pressures in a game again. I don't know. It's really hard to do that on PFR. So, really, really cool. And DeMarcus Lawrence, still doing it, crushing my preseason projection. He's pass rushing like he did in his prime. I don't think there's any other way to put it at this point. He is pass rushing the way he did in his prime. Maybe he's not getting all the sacks that he did in his prime because he's not tackling, he's not finishing like he used to, but it's still beyond what I thought we were going to get. That's 14 pressures from your edge rushers. 14. So, yeah, Mafe lagging behind my expectations. Derek Hall also. But you look at it, it's going to probably land about where I thought it would. So, sign me up for that. Sign me up for 78 pressures in 11 games from the edge rushers alone. I will be very happy with that. Cornerback, we had the 1 from Devin Witherspoon, so he's now up to 5 on the season. Remember, all the games he's missed, he's doing good here as well. And there was one play where he actually could have picked up half a sack in this last game, so liking what I see from that. And we also had 1 from a safety. Ty Okada added another 1. And that's a player who I wasn't really even expecting to play very much this year, so great news. And you add it all up, 29. 29 pressures in one game. And this is, again, PFR. If you got 29 pressures on PFF, that would be pretty good. The fact that PFR is handing out 29 pressures, you did something very special. We are on pace to rush the projection. We're on pace to have over 200 pressures by a pretty solid margin as well. It's everything you could ask for from this pass rush, I think. Maybe you wish some of these pressures would result in sacks, like Derek Hall, 7 pressures, but only 1 sack. Leonard Williams, 8 pressures, but only 1 sack. I understand. But you guys got to remember something. Cam Ward did some very special stuff in that game to not let those plays turn into sacks. And I think you just have to give him all the credit in the world for that. So, for me personally, I know that if you keep getting pressure, good things are going to happen. Sacks, fumbles, interceptions, off-target throws, all that kind of stuff. It starts with pressure. So, very good stuff here. Very excited. This is the best edition of Pass Rush Friday I think I've ever done. I don't think I've ever had 30 from PFR. Like, I know there have been games where we have lived in the backfield, like the Giants a couple years ago, the Panthers a couple years ago, but I don't think 29 has ever been met. All right. Everybody have a good rest of your day. I will be making a video in a couple of hours about the game report for the injuries for this game on Sunday. Probably a Huskies video a little bit later as well. But yeah, that is it. That'll do it. So everyone have a good day. Go Hawks and bask in the glory of a remarkable Pass Rush Friday. These do not come around all that often.